Hey, we're back with more GitHub. So in this video, we're going to create our SSH key. We're going to pick up where we left off, so go ahead and open up that browser again with your GitHub account. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to head over to the Github Docs. So we're going to scroll down to the bottom, we're going to click Docs, and it's going to take us here. In our search bar, we're going to type SSH space key, and you're going to click the first result that comes up. So that's going to be generating a new SSH key. Once you click that, make sure that you click into either Mac or Windows, Linux, whichever system you are on. Then we're going to scroll down to generating a new SSH key. Then what we're going to do in step 2 is we're going to copy from SSH all the way to the -C. Once you've copied that to your clipboard, you can either use Command-C if you're on Mac, Control-C if you're on Windows, or you can just right-click and press copy. After we've done that, we're going to open up our terminal. I'm going to minimize this window. And for Mac, remember that you are opening up your home terminal. And for Windows, you're going to open up your Git Bash terminal. So make sure if you are on Windows that you click your Git Bash terminal, and that can be found when you open up your search bar, and it should be in your recents, or you can just type out Git Bash and then launch that application. Before we paste in that little bit of a command and create our SSH key, I'm going to show you a couple tips and tricks when utilizing your terminal. Right here is where it's going to always tell you what your path is. And what a path is it's going to be the location of where you are at in your terminal. So we are currently in my home directory. When you get into doing more code, a lot of times you're going to be creating multiple directories to organize your files and different projects and such. So today we're going to make some directories and folders to keep everything in these tutorials nice and organized. This will be a best practice and something you will definitely use later to make sure that your files are not getting lost and they're always living in a nice and organized space on your system. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to always check where you are in your terminal. So we're going to type pwd and press enter. It's then going to give you back this line of code or something very similar to this. It is always going to show you exactly where you are. So I am currently in Graceland Tutorials inside of users. If you're wondering, okay, that's great, what is inside of this directory? You can always type ls and hit enter. And then it's going to give you back everything that is living inside of the exact directory you are in. So right now, we're going to create a new directory for us to store all of our folders and files in. Now to do that, we're going to type mkdir space, and then we're going to name our directory. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to name this my-work. You can name it whatever you like. You can name it your name. You can name it a name of your class you're taking. Whatever you want, just make sure it is something short and descriptive. And we want to make sure if we're going to use multiple words like I just did here, that we utilize dashes, okay? And once you've named it, you're going to press enter. I know you might be wondering, okay, we made it, where is it? So let's type ls again and hit enter. And there we have it. Our directory that we just created is going to live in our home directory. I know that might be a little confusing because it's a directory and a directory, but do not worry, it'll all make sense in just a moment. So we have created a new home to store all of our files that we'll be making. So let's go into that home so that we can create a better organized system for ourselves. So what we're going to do to hop into that directory is type cd space and then just the name of our directory and hit enter. Great. And now you can see that in front of our %, it now says my work. And if you want to really check that exact location, pwd, and now we can see our exact path of where we are. Okay? We are currently in my work that is inside of Graceland Tutorials that is inside users. We're now going to create a home that our SSH key pair is going to live in. We're going to do the exact same thing that we did with my work, but we're just going to name it something a little different. Go ahead and type mkdir space, and we're going to title this SSH key. Okay, make sure you're titling this one the same as me, and then press enter. Great, and now that we've done that, we're going to hop into that directory so when we're generating our SSH key next, it'll live inside of there. Again, if this is confusing you a little bit, do not worry. Once we start generating that SSH key, it'll all start to make more sense. So, to get inside of our SSH key directory, we're going to type cd space SSH key and hit enter. Great, and now we're going to type pwd, and just to confirm our path that we are inside our SSH key directory. Alright, so we're going to start generating our SSH key now. To make sure that we can keep things a little bit clearer just for your sake and for my sake, let's make sure our terminal is nice and clean before we get started with that. All you're going to do is type clear and hit enter. Great, now we have a fresh start and we're ready to go. So now we're going to paste that command from the Github Docs. You can either do Command V if you're on a Mac, Control V if you're on Windows, or you can just right click and paste. Now that we've pasted that in, we're going to press space, and then we're going to open a double quote. And in this double quote, you're going to put your email that you used to sign up for GitHub. And remember to close out that quote. Once you've done that, we're going to hit enter. And it's going to spit back these two lines. That's going to let you know that it generated your key pair. And then you're going to enter in a file name to which you're going to save it to. For this, we're going to name it my-key and hit enter. And then it's going to take you to this next line where it's going to ask you to enter a passphrase. I do not suggest entering a passphrase because it does become time consuming and tedious when you are going to be pushing up your work to GitHub to constantly keep typing in that password every time you need to make a change. So we're going to press enter and enter. Great. And now it's going to give you a little bit of an ASCII art design because who doesn't love some ASCII art? All right, so now that we've done that, we're going to go and open up our Finder if we're on a Mac, or if you're on Windows, you're going to open up your File Explorer. I'm going to minimize my terminal for this next step, and then I'm going to open up my Finder. Once we've opened up our Finders or a File Explorer, if you're on Windows, you're going to click into this PC, and then you're going to click into Local Drive C, and then you're going to click into Users. If you are on Mac, you can either click on Locations, that'll be on this left-hand side, and then you can click into Users. Or you can do what I'm doing and right-click on top here on that file, and just click right into Users. The next thing you're going to do is click onto yourself. If you are on a Mac and you have multiple users on your laptop like I do, just make sure you're clicking into the one you are currently inside of. Once you're in there, we're going to head over to our My Work directory. So double click, and then we see our SSH-key. Double click on that. Once we're in there, we're going to see our two files that we generated with our SSH key. So we have my key, and then we have mykey.pub. We're going to be utilizing mykey.pub. So we're going to right click on mykey.pub, and then we're going to hit open with. And then we're going to hit other. And then we're going to scroll down to Visual Studio Code. If you want to, you can check off always open with. I'm going to. And then we're going to click open. Once it is opened up, you're going to see that this line of code has appeared in this file. You'll want to select that entire line and copy it. Once you have copied it, we're going to head back into our browser into our GitHub account. So let's minimize this, and we can exit out of our Finder or a File Explorer. And let's open back up our Chrome browser in GitHub. We can just scroll to the top, and let's just press our back arrow a couple times to take us back to our profile. Once we're there, we're going to click up on the right-hand side and scroll all the way down to Settings. Once we've gotten to Settings, on the left-hand side, you're going to click SSH and GPG keys. Once we're there, we're going to head over to this first one that says SSH keys, and we're going to click New SSH Key. Next, we're going to add a title for our SSH key. I'm going to name this main-key. Then here in key, we're going to paste in that line of code that we took from our file from Visual Studio Code, and making sure that the entire line is there, including that email. And then you're just going to click Add SSH Key. GitHub is going to ask you to confirm your password. Once you've typed in your password, press Confirm Password. And voila, you have generated your new SSH key. That's going to be it for this video. In our next video, we're going to go over creating our first repository and cloning it into our Visual Studio Code. I'll see you there, or if you're just stopping by for this video, bye!